Alright, Shalom, this is Azim Wath. First and foremost, I'd like to say call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Bakiyar, the elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. As always, it's an honor and privilege to continue to do this work. This is from dnyuz.com. It says Chicago raises bridges after unrest and looting batters downtown, which, from my knowledge about this whole situation, it was brought forth upon a 18 to 20-year-old kid being wounded in a shootout with the Chicago Police Department, man. You know, which, if he was wounded, then that was his judgment for going against the powers in which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has ordained and he has set up for evildoers. Now, if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you don't have to have any fear of these police out here, man. But 2/3, they have to have fear, you know. People that aren't right in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's eyes, they have to have fear, man. This is Chicago officials raised bridges and suspended some train and bus service Monday morning after unrest and looting caused widespread damage in the city's downtown overnight. Videos that were circulating on social media captured the early morning scenes of hundreds of people in the streets, dozens of police officers, looting and confrontations with the police. There was also exchange of gunfire with the police in the downtown, according to a police spokesman, Tom Aaron. He said on Twitter early Monday that there were shots fired at police who returned fire and that no officers were injured. He said it was unknown at this time if offenders were shot. In some of the videos, people can be seen entering various businesses, and local TV stations showed storefronts vandalized, windows smashed, and sidewalks littered with boxes. In one widely viewed recording of the protests, police officers can be seen confronting a group of people in the street when someone hurled an object at one of the officers, striking him in the face. He and other officers then charged the people who fled. A police spokeswoman said on Monday that the details of the overnight violence, including any arrests and damage, will be announced at 8 a.m. local time by the police superintendent, David Brown, and by the city's mayor, Lori Lightfoot. The mayor's office was not available to comment early on Monday. The Chicago Transit Authority said Monday morning that at least half a dozen bus and train lines were shut down at the request of public safety officials. The city's Office of Emergency Management and Communications alerted residents of street closures early Monday morning due to the police activity. The looting came several hours after officers exchanged fire with a person on Sunday afternoon, a shooting that drew protests. Yeah, so if you read about the story, it's about young Jake having a shootout with the police, man. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 1, which this is in my opinion, you know, my vain opinion, this is a good chapter to include in the 16th chapter to read about the climate that is going to be in these times that we're in today. That was written thousands of years ago, you know, and it's extremely accurate, man. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So it's the Most High that's going to put in your mouth the words of prophecy. It's the Most High that's going to cause you to speak the words that you speak, man. Or not speak, for that matter, you know. It says, or depending on the situation. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity, which the incredulity is the unbelief, because a lot of people don't have any belief, man. You know, a lot of people really don't believe. A lot of people have already been worn out and are tired, you know, and are weary, you know, which causes them to start to not do things according to the scriptures, or not to believe in the scriptures according to truth. You know, it says, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So you got to always remember, don't worry about those that really don't believe, man. You know, because even among Israel, there's individuals that really don't believe, and they're already agitated. You know, they're bitter. You know, so them losing their patience, they want everyone else to fall out. You know, they want everyone else to be destroyed. You know, because they have lost traction in the race, man. And those that have discernment see it. You know, it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Just like you saw it in individuals that I know, like I don't even remember his Hebrew name. But Tracy T, you got Tracy T, Bonaya. Well, not really Bonaya, in my opinion. Tracy T, though, for sure. You had Two Hearts. You had Marsha Ba'ala. You know, just to name a few, and there's many others, man. It says, behold, said Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, which those are those that have transitioned to the spirit world. You know, it says, and therefore saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which all that's going to come real soon, especially when they do these mandatory vaccinations and RFID administrations, you know. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Now he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. So you just got to go into the history, as the scriptures do inform us to inquire of the former times, to search their fathers. We got to go into the history and read about what Yahweh Shah did to Martazarium, which was ancient Egypt. It says, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. You know, and modern day Egypt is America, man, because Egypt is an allegory for the house of bondage. So what is America known for? It's known for slavery and enslaving the jewels of the Most High, which are the Israelites. Verse 13, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hell, and with the fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, which the modern day sword is a gun. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, which is nothing more than what you will see on the TV when they talk about riots, man, and protests. You know, it's an act of sedition, which most of the time they're not regarding civil authority. That's why even in the article it mentioned individuals having shootouts with the police, with the centurions. Verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city. Now, just like they closed the bridges, they're going to close these highways, man. You know, you saw what happened during the shelter in place orders. They would close traffic to cities, you know. You will have the highway patrol or the local police department patrolling and pulling people over to see if they violated curfew or if they were going to something that had to do with a essential occupation or job, you know. So you're already seeing these scriptures coming to life, man, you know, which also brings experience, you know. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, you know. And I'm going to continue. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So just imagine when these people face another crisis and stampede to the store, you know, for another essential item run, man. And those shelves are empty and the food is gone and there's no canned foods left, you know. And people are not going to have the patience during desperation, man. And there's going to be desperate times, man, which is going to cause great tribulations because people are going to be in survival mode. They're going to either take fight or take flight. You know, there's going to be a lot of trickery, a lot of deception, especially among our people, the Israelites, man. And this is Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 23. It says, their children also multipliedest thou as the stars of heaven, and broughtest them into the land concerning which thou hast promised to their fathers, that they should go in to possess it. So the children went and possessed the land, and thou subduedest before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and gavest them into their hands with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. And they took strong cities in a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards and olive yards, and fruit trees in abundance. So they did eat, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in thy great goodness. Nevertheless, they were disobedient, and rebelled against thee, and cast thy law behind their backs, and slew thy prophets which testified against them, to turn them to thee, and they wrought great provocations. Therefore thou desirest them in the hand of their enemies, who vexed them. So through the actions of disobedience and rebellion that Israel has committed against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, he delivered Israel, the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to your enemies, man. And what did your enemies do? They vexed you. It says, and in their time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and according to thy manifold mercies, thou gavest them saviors, which those saviors are pretty much prophets and great men of the scriptures, man. You know, it says, who saved them out of the land of their enemies. But on this side, the savior is going to be Yahweh Shai, you know. Verse 28, it says, but after they had rest, they did evil again before thee. Therefore leftest thou them in the hand of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. Yet when they returned and cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and many times didst thou deliver them according to thy mercies. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to do it again this time, just as before. But he's going to save his elect. It says, and testifies against them that thou mightest bring them again unto thy law. Yet they dealt proudly, and hearkened not unto thy commandments, but sinned against thy judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew the shoulder, and hardened their neck, and would not fear. Yet many years didst thou forbear them, and testifiest against them by thy spirit in thy prophets. Yet would they not give ear, therefore gavest thou them into the hand of the people of the lands. Nevertheless, for thy great mercy's sake, thou didst not utterly consume them, nor forsake them, for thou art a gracious and merciful power. Now therefore our power, the great, the mighty, and the terrible power, who keepeth covenant and mercy, let not all the trouble thee, let not all the trouble seem little before thee, that have come upon us, on our kings, on our princes, and on our priests, and on our prophets, and on our fathers, and on all the people since the time of the kings of Assyria unto this day. It says, howbeit thou art just in all that is brought upon us, for thou hast done right, but we have done wickedly. So everything that is happening to those that refuse to turn back onto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is righteous judgment, man. So if you're getting your cities besieged, which a siege is something that you surround a place where nothing could come in and come out. That's going to happen in America. When you get these bridges open, you can't go out of a city unless you swim in that green water. I don't know if that river is still green from when they died for St. Patrick's Day, because I know it was I believe it was shelter in place orders during that time. But that's one of the things Chicago is famous for when dealing with tourism, is that green water that they died for St. Patrick's Day. You're gonna have to swim in that shit to get to the other side of the bridge, man. Who knows how many bodies get dumped in that? This is Psalms chapter 27 verse 1, a psalm of David. Yahweh is my light and my salvation. Who shall I fear? Yahweh is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Yeah, so our enemies, our foes, the wicked, if Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is with you, they're going to stumble and fall. It says, though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of Yahweh, that I will seek after, and I may dwell in the house of Yahweh all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of Yahweh, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion, in the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. So that's what we're praying for, that we're accounted worthy to be of that number, to be hidden in these days, man, in that day, because we have accepted Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua as our rock, and he gives us strength to keep and to continually preach and execute his word, man. So with that, hope at least one brother elect was edified, and I'm gonna say shalom.